Listen, I'm gonna spoil it. One of the best kept secrets of people watching, oh, but if you just had a van, you can just go stealth camping, man. You can do that anywhere. I don't have a van. Today, I'm gonna be ranking the states that are the best to off-grid camp in. Behind me is actually my house that I built. This is the house that I built to travel the country in the back of the box truck, and you know, we've done a lot of camping in the western half of the U.S., so I'm gonna break down the best states to camp in west of the Rockies, although including the Rockies as well. So we got like 11 states. Now, I wanna make one thing clear. All of the states on this list are incredible. I'm ranking them against each other. I'm gonna be ranking these on 3 primary factors. The first factor is gonna be like variability on like different types of places to camp in. You know, I wanna be able to have a lot of different kinds of scenery around me, not just mountains, not just desert, not just ocean. I want a lot of different things. I wanna be able to go from one place to another and, you know, kind of a different change in scenery. Number 2, temperatures. I wanna be at a place where I don't need to be using all my battery power running my AC. I want like somewhat stable climates as well. In this camper, we've got 1,200 watts of solar power. We've got 80 gallons of fresh water. We have Starlink. So as long as I got sun, we're pretty good. And then number 3 is just like overall beauty. Now, of course, this is pretty subjective. For me, I love this. I'm in actually a pretty cool spot right now. The state that I'm currently camping in may very well rank among some of the top here. So the states that we're gonna be covering today are going to be Washington, Oregon, California, Idaho, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, and New Mexico. I've noticed that some are a lot more conducive for camping in general. Like, there are a lot of these states that have some beautiful land, but not that many campsites relative to like how big it is. So we're gonna start off number 1 with Washington. Now, Washington is absolutely gorgeous for like 40% of it. You really only have the coast in Washington and a little bit to the east of it too, but a lot of it is desert. I wanna be at a spot where there's more variability. There's not a ton of mountains up north, although you do have Olympic National Park, which definitely helps. It's absolutely gorgeous. I think we're gonna go ahead and put Washington. I hate to do this to you, all my Washingtonians, because Southern Washington and West Washington are beautiful, but we're gonna throw Washington into the C tier. It's really nice for certain parts. I mean, here's some footage of some beautiful parts of Washington. In terms of like easy places to park this, again, Washington compared to like Georgia. Georgia's beautiful too, but Washington compared to Georgia's an A tier all day long. But compared to the rest of these on this list, I think it's pretty average. Next, we're gonna move over to Oregon. I think for people who have never been, is probably one of the most underrated states, to be honest with you. Oregon is just, you have everything. You've got the mountains, you've got gorgeous trees, you've got basically an extension of the rainforest, it feels like. You've got sand dunes, you've got the ocean, you've got lakes, and you got a lot of places to camp. That said, you know, the northeastern side of Oregon is very deserty, very windy too, hard to drive this thing in, but I think Oregon is without a doubt an S tier state. This is among one of my favorite states ever to camp in. Oregon's the best. We've done a few camping trips in Oregon, and actually just came from one like a week ago, where we camped out in kind of like a rainforest, Mount Hebo, beautiful area over there. And then we kind of did the entire 101, the Pacific Coast Highway, some incredibly cool small towns along the coast that everyone should check out when you go through it. All right, next on the list is Idaho. Idaho, like half of Idaho is super slept on, and then the parts of Idaho that everybody knows kind of sucks. Boise, I'm just gonna say it.
You know what? I'm about to say it. Say it. I don't care that you broke your elbow.
I don't love it. But you know, there's some really beautiful parts in eastern Idaho and northern Idaho, kind of up in that panhandle area. In terms of camping, you know, off-grid camping, one of the issues with Idaho is it's fairly, the climate changes a bit. You get a lot of cloud coverage, a lot of rain, which is beautiful, but it's really hard to stay in long-term, like during peak summer months, especially in the parts that are really cool to camp in. So with all that being said, as much as I do love Idaho, and it's honestly, northern Idaho is like totally a place I'd love to live in, Idaho I think is gonna go in the B tier. Beautiful scenery, but again, Coeur d'Alene and northern Idaho from there, phenomenal. Really eastern Idaho near, you know, Rexburg, Reary, some great camping over along the Snake River, but like besides that, I'm not a huge fan. I think there are other parts, other states on this list that simply do a whole lot better. Next, we're gonna move to Nevada. Now, Nevada is got a special place in my heart because I don't know if you know this or not, Nevada has, we're gonna have to fact check this one. I might just sound like an idiot. Nevada has the most mountains of any state in the entire country. All right, Bryce here from the future, and I did go and fact check this. I was almost right. Nevada has the most mountain ranges of any state in the country. It's got 300 different mountain ranges across all of Nevada. California technically has the most peaks. So it's super mountainous, like in the western side especially. It is a lot of desert. In fact, I'm actually heading to Nevada today. I'm going to Lake Tahoe. We'll pass over into the Nevada side, I'm sure, very briefly. You know, there's some really beautiful hot springs in Nevada, some really cool towns. In terms of camping, really fun for, you know, a few days at a time. In terms of staying there, especially over the summer, you know, for a week or 2 weeks and kind of bouncing around, it just gets really hot. Like, it is a really hot state. So I do love it, but in terms of like sustainability and, you know, long-term camping, the temperatures do just get really hot. It's hard to go camp up in a lot of those mountains. So like, you're gonna be camping in lower parts in the desert a lot, at least from my experience. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw Nevada in the C tier. All right, now we are going to move on over to Utah. Utah's beautiful. Utah is really cool. There's Moab. You've got, you know, a lot more fields and like Salt Lake. You don't have a ton of mountains, at least in terms of like easily accessible mountains. It's cool. It's great. There's some great hot springs in Utah as well. And I actually live in Colorado, so I do a lot of local camping trips in Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, and I think Utah's got to go into the C tier.
Oh, okay. Oh, you crazy.
And now you know what, screw it. I'm putting Utah in the B tier. Moab is so freaking cool. Moab single-handedly brings this into, even though it doesn't 100% go along with my ranking, it does get hot in the summer, but it's, depending on the day, you get a lot of sunshine. There's Moab, there's just so much to do. So like, even though I might not be able to stay there in Moab in particular, for, you know, like a week at a time or 2 weeks without needing to crank that AC up, I will say there's a lot of sun exposure. So even though my AC is running, I can charge it up equally as fast because I've got enough solar, and there's generally not crazy cloud coverage all day long. There's so much to do around there. I do love Western Utah too. That's why it's ranked so high. We're putting Utah in the B tier. All right, next we are moving into Arizona. And camping in Arizona, I've only actually stayed at a couple of spots, so I don't feel that qualified to talk that much about Arizona, but Arizona's beautiful. There's some really cool spots to drive through, especially up north, kind of, you know, in that Flagstaff area. Really cool camping over, you know, a little bit west of Phoenix as well. Just overall, I don't think a ton of options throughout the majority of the state that are gonna offer all that much. I do love Arizona, so I hate putting it into the C tier, but based on my criteria, man, it just gets brutally hot unless you're staying up north, which is really just kind of a small fraction of Arizona. So for me, I'm gonna throw Arizona in the C tier. Not much else to be said, although I would put it in the A tier if you're going in the spring or the fall. The temperatures are perfect. You still get a lot of sun. There's a lot to do. It's just like kind of during the peak camping season, it's just too hot. That's all. All right, next we're gonna move over to Montana. You know, Montana, I hadn't been to Montana since I was basically a kid, but we just recently spent like 2 weeks in Montana, camping all the way from Billings, all the way west, driving into Idaho. And I gotta say, Montana is probably one of the most beautiful states. You've got a lot of rivers, you got a lot of lakes, you have amazing weather, there's a ton of different places to camp. And you know, the only thing you don't have there is like the ocean. You still have enough lakes to go through, there's a bunch of cool towns. towns through there. Montana to me gets an easy A tier. Montana, we're gonna throw that one in the A tier really easily. It's a solid spot, no matter how you break it down. All right, next we're gonna move over to Wyoming. Wyoming is a great state to camp in. There's actually one of my favorite places is Jackson, mainly because you can actually park for free on the streets. Like you can camp on the streets of Jackson as long as like you respect kind of everything and you're in designated camping areas. I love that. I love finding a town where I know, listen, people watching, oh, but if you just had a van, you can just go stealth camping, man. You can do that anywhere. I don't have a van. I don't fit in it. So I need a place I can park this box truck easily. And the cool part is in Jackson, they let you do that. There's beautiful camping near the Tetons, beautiful camping near Yellowstone. Listen, I'm gonna spoil it. One of the best kept secrets of Wyoming is 10 Sleep. I said it. 10 Sleep, Wyoming is, I think, one of the coolest towns, bunch of cool camping. You got a lot of national forests, you got a lot of national parks. Wyoming is, oh man, I'm between an A tier and an S tier here. I think it gets an S tier. Yeah, Wyoming's an S tier state, man. It's awesome. Like, it's between them, I think, because the mountains you see there are just kind of unlike any other mountains you're gonna see anywhere else. Even though you can't camp in like the Tetons, just looking at that view, you don't really get that anywhere else in the country. Most parts of the country. That I think alone gives it an S tier. There are a lot of mountains. Again, you're missing the ocean, but you get lakes, you get rivers, there's a bunch of camping options. The weather can get pretty gnarly sometimes. Like when it rains, man, I've been trapped in some crazy storms there, but this summer especially hasn't been that bad. All right, next we got Colorado, my home state where I live. Man, it's like hard not to give Colorado an S tier just instantly. I don't think I even need to explain it. Like, you've got the Rocky Mountains, you've got east of Denver kind of sucks. You're basically just in Kansas. But you do have reservoirs, you got southern Colorado, you got a lot of diversity, you got amazing weather. You can actually, in the dead of the summer, you can camp in a lot of these mountains in Colorado and kind of escape a lot of the heat. Like it's still gonna be hot, but totally bearable, great and cool at night. The only thing is you do have lakes, but like they're tough to camp on. But I think Colorado is just kind of an automatic S tier, in my opinion. It's like, if you're not camping in Colorado, if you're camping, off grid, like in a van or a truck and you haven't been to Colorado, that's like the mecca of outdoor camping in the Rocky Mountains. There's so many. And then you go to southern Colorado and you got the San Luis mountain range. You've got the sand dunes. You can go into western Colorado. It's an easy S tier. All right, next is New Mexico. New Mexico, higher elevations than a lot of Colorado. It's surprising the elevation there. But there are some real, it's a very similar problem to Arizona. There are some great camping spots. Taos, outside of Santa Fe, but it's kind of it. You do still have mountains, but it's not crazy. I love New Mexico, but I think for the purpose of this video, New Mexico, I think, is gonna be in that C tier category. All right, and last but not least, we have California. And listen, I grew up in New York, not the city, by the way, upstate New York. Like, we call ourselves snow hillbillies. And I grew up hating California, and a lot of me still does, because they just think they're better than everybody. We drove into here, by the way. We drive into California, and there is like a border crossing into the state. It's like they think they're their own country, and I get it, because it kind of is its own country. I have a love-hate relationship. I hate that I love it so much here. Would I ever live here? Probably not. To be completely honest with you, the type of work that I do along, I work basically Eastern hours I trade stocks, hence trade. And so, the market opens at 6:30 in the morning here. It's tough for me long term, but that is not anything to do with camping. Listen, the diversity here, the camp spots are unimaginable. There are so many camp spots to choose from. You have so many state parks, so many national parks. You have mountains, you got the beach, you got the desert. You have Northern California, which is where we are right now. And I mean, like, it's unbeatable. In fact, if I had to pick one state, California, by the way, is in the S tier. If I had to pick one state to choose out of any state to camp in, it's gonna be California. You have everything you want here. Like you could travel all of California and you can find amazing camp spots. You can find so much different scenery, so much diversity in the landscape. California is probably, in my opinion, one of the best states for off-grid camping, and it's like so conducive to it too. They're so friendly and open to camping, which is super cool. I mean, in this spot alone, there's probably 25, 30, if not 50 plus camp locations along this river. So like, we have what feels like an entire backyard to ourselves. We have a river right behind us that I sat in for like an hour and a half yesterday and just looked out, built a little rock fortress in there, built a seat. Just had so much fun. In fact, I would argue that this camp spot, there's a mountain you can't see right off camera over there. This particular camp spot might be one of the favorite camp spots I've camped at in the last couple of years. I love running water, I love it. So California gets an S tier. That's gonna be my tier breakdown of my favorite west of the Rockies and West states. I'm gonna, if people like this, I'll rank more states as I go more east. I have done some camping farther east, but again, notice there was not a single D tier state because they're all so great. It really though, like there is no failing out this side. Like there is no F tier out in the West. There's too much here. It's beautiful. Guys, if you liked this video, or if you hated it, let me know in the comments if I'm just an idiot. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I travel around in this box truck, not full time, I don't live in it, but I travel for months on end. We're currently 2 months into our trip right now. Subscribe for more content like this, and also just kind of living out of the back of it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Box Truck Bryce. I'll see you in the next one.